It's live on KEXP. I'm your host, Kevin Cole from listener-powered independent 90.3 FM, broadcasting live in Seattle and streaming 24/7 at kexp.org and via our free mobile apps. KEXP is a nonprofit arts organization, and these live performances are made possible by donations from listeners and viewers just like you. And I'm so happy to be joined in studio today by JoyCut, all the way from Bologna, Italy. Ciao. Welcome to KEXP. I've admired your music from afar for a long time, so I'm really excited to actually see you live for the first time. How about a set of music, and then we'll talk about the new album. 4 songs from the most recent album, The Blue Wave: Times When Silence is a Poem, The Ice is Melted, and Bleeding Glaciers Form Our Tears. JoyCut, live on KEXP. Ciao.
Ciao, Kevin.
It's great having you here in Seattle and here at KEXP. Pascal, do you mind introducing the other members of the band?
Of course, my pleasure. Gael and Tommy.
Thank you so much. So JoyCut are a band that's deeply committed to its principles and values beyond aesthetics and music. But you're a truly independent band for 20 years. You've been making all your own decisions about creating music, putting music out, touring, just anything involving the band. You're also, as a band, dedicated to the fight against the human crisis that is the environmental climate crisis. And the new album, The Blue Wave, is just so cinematic and evocative. It's hard not to be thinking about the planet and all its majesty when listening to the album. And can you tell me, Pascal, about the meaning of the album for you as a whole?
Yep, the album is. I mean, we were missing to release a record since 9 years. We took 9 years to come out with this album, and it was because we wanted to put something inside that was really, really, really true, really related to our emotions, and we wanted to tell something authentic, not just playing music or perform, because we were performing just around Europe and the world, and we've been there for 6 years, also playing, the roots, the germs of these tracks, even if they weren't into an album, but we didn't miss to publish something. But at a certain point after the pandemic, when the pandemic came, we were just, sticking in our houses, because in Italy it was so hard. We had a very deep lockdown. We were locked down in for a couple of months without going out, with a curfew. So I had a permission to go to the studio and get back home when everything was silent and desert around. And this album saved me, actually, because I felt like now we were ready to express, the deepness, the intensity of those days, because these are very hard times, and we wanted to be there in order to testimony, a sort of bubble where we were in. And so, as you know, music heals, and these sort of sounds, they were a sort of salvation for me, for us. And there's all the screaming of the nature inside. There's all the fear that our fragility needs to express. And we didn't have any sort of fear in order to come out with this sound, which is sometimes elegant, sometimes hard, sometimes long, sometimes not. But it's a collection of our emotion, and we wanted to do something for the vulnerable, for the fragiles, for the ones who were in needs in that moment. So I mixed everything again. So the tracks were almost ready, and I spent all my time to reopen everything and cure every single details, because I wanted everything to be so clear, so authentic. And there are loads of reverbs in this album, and taken from the environment when there was the pandemic, and when I was just going back home at 2:00 in the morning.
Wait, when you say that, a lot of reverb, you were actually recording ambient outside sounds that you worked into the record itself?
Yeah, because when you listen to the track is ready for you, because you feel that sort of spirit that tells you, okay, now it's done. And we were so lucky because of the independent path we are following, because we don't have any clock. No one no one tells us, you have to do that now. You have 2 months, you have 1 week. So we took just our time, and it was so important to listen to the tracks and thinking about, okay, maybe they are perfect for us, but they miss something inside. So when I recorded all the silence and that sort of atmosphere around, and I put it into the tracks were magically changed.
Yeah.
In a perfect way. They were alive, and I was smiling and crying at the same time. And I thought, okay, this is it.
Yeah.
This is why I'm here.
That's so cool. Listening to the album, and you just mentioned it, there is at times an ambient, delicate, reflective quality. At other times, it's quite bombastic and violent. What are you hoping the listener will take away from the album?
We just performed 4 tracks, and every track is taken from one side of the album. And you were able to announce the title in its entirety. Is a sort of a contemporary haiku. So every single side has its meaning and its flavors. And so we thought, okay, if we perform one track from every single side, maybe we can give a sort of taste of what is this sound. And I think people can just close their eyes. They don't need to see us performing. They don't need to be there and play it again and again and again because the melody is catching. They just can be themselves once. And this is the dream we have when we play. This is the reason why we came over. This is the reason why we broke our principles, getting a plane and coming over. And I know it's a contradiction, because when we tour on Europe, we use the van, in order to reduce the fossil fuel and stuff like that. But sometimes we have to think about, okay, we have principles, we have ideals, but there is also the chance to exchange our thoughts with people and give them, or our love and passion.
Yeah. You have to think about the impact that you might have and the end result there. There's an introspective, reflective, contemplative feeling to the album, with a lot of space, as you mentioned, to think as you listen to the record. Given your environmental stance, is there a call to action you're hoping for with the record?
It's always the same story. It's a question of personal consciousness. We can tell someone, okay, you should act like us. We can be models, but for a certain sense, we can just, show a track, a paving, a path, and we are independent, as you said, and we put all our effort into what we do, and when we do something, we do that stuff because we really believe it. And I think this is the best message and call to action you can spread out, telling, okay, nature is a living entity. It's not just reducing, your consume. Nature is a sort of organism, and we are part of that. So we are not the selfish one. As race, we are the selfish one, But there is also ecocentrism. I don't know how you say, yeah. And we should just think about that. We are part of something bigger, and we have to respect that in our ordinary behaviors.
Yeah. Despite those challenges and what we're up against, the human crisis, again, the environmental climate crisis, that you thematically approach and deal with on the album, there's this uplifting, optimistic quality, I'd say almost triumphant quality to the music on this new album. And I know I asked you this back in like 2019 or 2020 during our Clash for Climate Day, but I want to ask it again. Just what makes you optimistic, and what are you hopeful for?
I have this sort of way of thinking, and it helps me to overcome, the bad moment. And I think, okay, being optimistic, it doesn't mean like everything is all right. everything is gonna be all right. Being optimistic means, okay, there is a problem, we have to face it, getting the positivity from it. So in that sense, I'm optimistic, because I believe in the community, I believe in people, and I believe that everyone can do his part. And this is great if you think about it, because we don't know each other, but we are brothers, and we are in the same boat, you say, and we can do something relevant for the others. So when I think about what I have to do this morning, because I'm wake me up, and what is my plan, it's not going to the studio, playing a gig, or meeting someone. It's just, can I improve myself? Can I do something more for the others, not just for me? Because being inside a system, it means sharing your life and connect your your emotions with the others. That's the point. Without this, everything is useless. Even the music. I know I'm on the wrong side when I say that, because everyone loves music, and music will save the world. But music, there's more than music. Music is, we can use the music. It can be a tool, but there's more than that, And we are the ones who can use music and adopt music in order to create bridges,
Yeah, I appreciate you doing that, because music does heal, and people need your art to feel, and for comfort, and for hopefulness, and for a sense of a joy in the world as well, which is important. I wanted to ask a couple things about just sort of your green philosophy, because I think it'll be really interesting for listeners, and it will also be interesting for other bands. But you're pretty hardcore about it, and tell me just how that translates to the recording process. So, for example, recording with Clean Energy.
Yeah, we started in 2007. And we just kept going like that, because we felt like we were on the right side of our story, or of our storytelling. And yeah, the first time it was in 2009 when we went to London to record at this studio called The Premises. The record, it was Ghost Streets Were to Disappear. And they had 11 panels on the roof, and they were just powering all the energy through solar energy. And yeah, they were so addicted to that, and we felt like, okay, it's possible. So from that point on, we always tried to get in touch with people, not with companies.
Yeah,
trying to find a way to be as greener as possible.
How does that translate to packaging records and vinyl itself?
We just use, everything we use is recycled 100%. It's not recyclable, it's already recycled. And the cellophane is from Martlew, which is a bioplastic from potatoes and some amide. Mm-hmm. And also the vinyl itself, this album is completely recycled, getting all the splinters from the other vinyls. And even the transfers are are there, controlling that there is enough room to put into the van everything, and not just wasting a transfer just for you or for your production. And yeah, we just finding out that there are people that thinking like us, and we can ask them to help us in this sort of direction. And this is one of the greatest things I really like about this album. Is completely green, completely. Yeah. So when you have it in your hands, you're just touching the entity of nature, and you can just play music with that. It's fantastic. It's
beautiful. It looks and feels great. Tell me about the Blue Forest.
Yeah, there was a campaign we were running since the 2009. Planting trees when someone could get a record, and this was also the meaning of the blue wave, and because it's like we have how'd you say there's the chance to do something concretely, like donating or buying green stuff, but I think I don't want to be radical. So forgive me. I don't want to be. But it's not enough. It's not enough. We should do something more every day. And sometimes, as you said before, and I want to underline this, maybe we are able to understand the process if we substitute the word climate with human.
Yeah.
So when we feel involved 100%, so we read, okay, this is a human crisis, not just a climate thing. It gives you the sense of what we can do.
Yeah, it changes the narrative. It makes it much more personal. In terms of partnerships, you do a lot of cool things, in part because you're independent, including you worked on this Earth Percent project that Brian Eno has produced. Tell me just a bit about that.
Yeah, before that, we were just following 350.org and Italian Climate Network. Then we had the chance to collaborate with the Earth Percent. They are trying to, aware some consciousness in the music industry. And Brian Eno asked us to give one of the tracks of this new album for his compilation, donating, of course, all the money he was gaining. And inside the 4 tracks, without telling you, we put that track. So we actually played 5 tracks. And that was the Plastic Whale. And Earth Percent, we are with them, and we are going to play this show in Bologna at Teatro Manzoni in September on the 16th with the orchestra. It's going to be the first time for us. And we are going to donate a relevant percentage of that show to the Earth Percent.
Nice. That's September 16th in Bologna, and but that will be recorded. So if you're listening to this or viewing this video after that, look for the video of that performance online. Real quick as well, I wanted to just mention the Cure are in town here in Seattle this week. You were invited by Robert Smith when he curated the 25th anniversary of the Meltdown Festival. He asked you to perform. What was that experience like, and what did you take away from that about the music industry?
Yeah, there was. I used to tell you several times it was a cosmic caress for me, because I'm still a fan, and I'm a musician because of him, because I was in love with the Cure, and I started to be a full circle musician, just following those principles. And that's a band apart from the music that gives you the confidence about doing something in the right way, without trying to understand what's going on around. You do it because you want to do it, because you feel to do it. And when we went to Meltdown, it was like being inside something outside the music industry. Because sometimes, I don't want to say all the other meltdowns, but the festivals in general are just, bills with lots of big names, just like going to a supermarket when you can find everything. And when I say supermarket, I'm not undervaluing the artists, of course. I'm just talking about the system, So when you are out with an album, you can tour and you can be an headliner. If not, you stay home, probably recording another album, or in our case, trying to find something to survive. And being in that bill meant the world for us, because he was just selecting a bunch of bands, and it was just like being in his playlist, a personal one, and he gave us the chance to be a headliner. So we thought, okay, this guy knows the music industry inside out. He knows the value of the bands. He knows how it is important, the music, apart from the numbers,
Yeah, a much more qualitative approach to curating a festival than one strictly on number crunching.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, there were bands with no album out. There were bands, they were split out and they reunited, and there were bands you couldn't imagine to have them, so to have there. So it was fantastic, and for us it was also the chance to compare our music and our research with the giants we always loved.
Very cool. That's motivating and inspiring. For those watching right now, there's a documentary of that, JoyCut, Robert Smith's Meltdown, One Step Closer to the Moon, and there'll likely be screenings, or it will be available at some point online. So look for that. It's JoyCut live here on KEXP. Grazie.
Grazie, Camille. I don't have any words because, we love you. We love all of you. And thanks for inviting us. And we're honored when you wear that hat. And so, the heart is beating. And it's emotional for me. So forgive my English, forgive my mistakes.
No, it's absolutely fantastic. Pascal, Gael, Tommy, Katia, thank you all for being here today. And thanks to the amazing KEXP crew. Thanks to all of you for listening and watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll get notifications when we launch videos, new sessions. And again, the KEXP live sessions are made possible by donations from listeners and viewers just like you. You can find out more online. It's been JoyCut live on KEXP. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Discover new music at kexp.org.